Hello and welcome to the Alpha Wolf 26DBH. Starting right up front, we have a light, just in case you need to hook up at night. You have an up and down for your powered tongue jack. Right behind it, right behind this little pull tab, there's a chance to put a tool inside there. Just in case this ever electrically goes out, you can manually override it and do it through there. Right behind it on these tanks, this little red tab shows that there's no propane going through it either way. You can tell which tank it's going by. This little pointer here, reading off the right tank and taking propane from it, or reading the left tank and taking propane from it. When you turn it on, this will then flip to green, which means it has a steady flow of propane going through it. But since there's nothing in there right now, it's still going to be red. But when you do see this for the first time, it'll be green. Moving forward, I have a front cap light here. Moving on. So all this is this is going to be a stabilizer jack crank. So you take this end, put it on your stabilizer, and then you can crank it up or down. Coming down to your sewer system here, you have your gray tank pull, black tank pull, and then your hot and cold low point drains back there. For your black tank, that's going to be your toilet water, and then for your gray tank, that's going to be your showers and sinks and whatnot. So our recommendation is do the black tank first, just because things are going to get stuck, so you can go ahead and do that. Black tank, and then you come up here to your black tank flush, put a pressurized hose into here. This activates a sprinkler inside the black tank, which then helps get anything that may have gotten stuck, just to help it empty out. So once you do your black tank flush, go ahead and do the gray tank last. That's just a recommendation because this is the cleanest water out of these two. So this gives it one last final rinse before you go ahead and put your hands back on there. Coming to your water system, starting off with the cable and satellite hookup for your TV. Fresh water connection. So this is going to be just a big tank inside of your trailer, which if you're going out to the middle of nowhere, you need running water, go ahead and fill this up beforehand. You can see how full it's getting by the reader inside, which I will show you. Going along with that, when you're out in your vacation area, so out in the woods, wherever, you are going to want to turn on your water pump, which that pump will then take this fresh water and then push it through your system so you have running water. And city water connection, so this is when you go to a campground. When you're at a campground, take that hose and plug it into here. What you're going to need is the water pressure regulator. What that does is if there's too much pressure, it'll read it, kind of dumb it down so it doesn't blow your lines. And if it's too low, it'll kind of even it out so nothing will end up damaging your lines. Outside shower here, hot and cold side twist knobs, and then you have your shower head kind of wrapped up in here. It'll be right there. Camp power or shore power right here. Outside light. And then here comes your water heater. With this you have a cap, which is going to be tightened down on this little spout here. I'm just going to kind of put it on lightly. You are going to want to tighten that down pretty much as it can go. For this, once that's plugged up, go ahead to the hot side of your faucet, turn that on. It'll start to sputter a little bit. That's just all the air getting pushed out of your tank. Going along with that, once it's done sputtering and it has a solid flow and steady stream, go ahead and then you're able to turn this on. To empty it, because water does get stagnant after a while, go ahead and release all the pressure that's built up with this little pressure release here. You'll hear it hiss. Once it's done hissing, go ahead, take this off, and then all the water will then start to drain off of there. There is your backup camera that has a little QR code on the bottom right on the white sticker, so you can connect your phone to it through Bluetooth. Coming to your back bathroom steps here, make sure your door is completely open. Otherwise, this piece will actually scrape the side of your door. I had to lift it up. Make sure the white tab is behind the frame so it doesn't move. Now that your stairs are up, you're gonna wanna adjust your legs to the length, however far it is from the ground, to make sure this is completely flush with this metal piece here. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Drop this down. Probably 2. You go ahead, pull the blue tab, and then just walk it down. So, with this, you want to make sure this is completely flush, because if you do go to shut your door, it'll rip off this little furry piece along with the rubber seal behind it. Moving on to your outside TV here, this will be a TV bracket, cable hookup, along with 110 outlets and outside speakers. Coming to your tires, you have little green caps on the end there to indicate that your tires are filled with nitrogen rather than regular air. You are able to fill it with regular air. It doesn't inflate or deflate with temperature change. This is going to be a furnace exhaust. So going along with that, if you have any little kids or someone who may not know in the area, let them know do not touch this because this will get very hot and end up burning them. Your small little outside kitchen here, ice maker, fridge, and this pulls out. This is going to be your griddle. You just press, turn, and then you light it with a lighter. Not griddle, stovetop. And then the main focus is this little red piece here. Lift it up, push it back inside. And then in order to get that propane going through, you have your LP gas hose, which goes to your quick connect here. And to turn it on, just make sure this is straight, and then the gas will then start to flow through. Same goes for these stairs. Make sure your door is completely open. And then legs are the same. Make sure it's completely flush so it doesn't rip off this part underneath. Leash latch here. And you have a battery disconnect. The battery disconnect is when you're not hooked up to shore power, you can actually completely cut the power off. It's not going to do anything because it is connected to shore power, but connect the little metal piece with the insert there, then to cut the power off, turn it off just like that. And then last but not least, for the outside, you have a little black tab there on the awning. Go ahead and peel that off. If this ever electrically goes out, insert a tool, and then you can manually override it. Coming to the inside, you have all of your electronics here. Starting off with the electric element to your water heater. So once again, once that spout is plugged up, you have a steady flow of hot water coming out. Go ahead, flip this on if you want the electric element. And then this little flame symbol here is going to be your gas or propane element. You have interior lights here. Exterior lights. Living room lights, which you can also turn off by a little switch right in the middle. So let me turn these back on. So you can section them off however you'd like. So let's say you want kids section completely cut off, you can go ahead, press all the lights there. You can still have lights in here and whatnot. Awning, I'm gonna extend this. And make sure your door is open, otherwise it will hit. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this fully extended, but I'll extend it as much as I can. Okay. So you'll know when you're fully extended when the access flap kind of comes down and you can see the black bar behind it. Going along with that, you don't want to keep extending it because it will reel in the opposite way and end up breaking. To pitch it for the rain, just grab right here. Let me go ahead and pull down. Try not to, there we go. And then the rain will then start to fall off one side. To reel it back in, just go ahead, push it up. And retract it back. All right, I moved this slide in just a little bit so you know what to expect when it fully extends. There, you can kind of hear the power die off, and then you know you're fully extended. Moving along, TV bracket, satellite cable, and then you can switch between that with this little switch here. 110 outlets. Coming down here to your radio. Hold the turn on, volume here. Zone 1 is going to be inside speakers. Zone 2 is going to be outside speakers. You can turn them both off like that, or just tap the middle once to mute. Mode, that brings you to TV, Bluetooth, and whatnot. Radio stations, or skip. And then if you do, here to select, that's going to be your equalizer. So you can go between bass, treble, and whatnot. There we go. And then you got the radio stations 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And then you have your HDMI and USB there. And you just hold to turn off. Come into your bed. If you grab the little wood part underneath and lift up, you can access storage underneath. And just go ahead, drop it down. Come into your keys here. Purple are main doors. This is gonna be baggage doors, and this is just like an access key, so that will also go for like a outside shower and whatnot. Come into the stove, button on, and you just press, turn, and then spark to the right. There we go. Spark to the right. You never want to turn to the left because it will actually snap off. So when it's on, you just press, turn to the right, and then they'll ignite. And for the oven, you press, turn the little pilot symbol, and then you'll sit there and spark. You can kind of see right in the back there's a little igniter. You can see it sparking. Just a warning, it's not gonna light first try, so don't think it's broken. A recommendation is to have these 3 burners on just so the gas starts getting purged through the system. And then once you think it's been going for a good time, turn them off, go to the pilot symbol, and go ahead and try and light. Once again, it'll take a few tries, but eventually it'll go for it. Light, fan. Fridge, you get the little twist on the top right. It's on off right now. Cool, cold, and coldest. Freezer, nothing. For your AC, your thermometer here. Off, fan low, fan high, cool low, cool high, cool low auto, cool high auto, heat, and then off. You control the temperature with the up and down arrows there. Here's your breakers and fuses. Everything's labeled like a house, and then you also have, I recommend bringing extra fuses with you. I would rather just be safe than sorry, but you can pick them up at any auto store. So AutoZone, for example, you can go ahead and pick up the fuses. Big pantry. It's not a turn knob, you just pull, so don't get that confused. It's just a little magnet there. Coming to the bathroom. Just going to be a foot flush. And then you are going to need toilet solution along with RV grade toilet paper. That toilet paper will help break down easier, and the solution will help break down solids and smells. coming up to the fan here. Pull down to unlock. Manually crank it like this. And then turn on. Here are 4 different settings. Down, off, and then crank to the right, shut, and then push up to lock. Ladder to the top bunk. Bed. For the AC, depending on where you want the air, it's controlled by these little flaps here. If you want it to just dump out the sides, make sure they're both open, and then they'll start to flow. If you want them through the vents further and spread out around the camper, go ahead, close them, and then they'll start to travel through the ducts. Here's your carbon monoxide detector. The little green light indicates that it's on. Going with that, considering that that green light is on, this always runs, so that green light will kill your battery even if the battery disconnects off. So one more time, this always runs as a safety feature. So if your battery disconnect is off, this will run on its own just off the battery. So it will kill your battery after about 3 to 4 days. So what I do recommend doing is, if you're going to leave your camper for about 3 to 4 days, just go ahead and take the negative end off of the battery, and then this will finally die. With the jackknife, just lift up, kind of pull out, it'll fold down, and then for the opposite to go in, lift up, give it a little bit of pressure, it'll flow in just like that.